creating the goals that I have for myself now, like it's way beyond the goals that I saw, like I created like last year, past 2 years ago. I know I'm worthy of more, and I seek abundance and everywhere now, not just money. Like I know I am worthy of more.
T-minus 10 seconds.
Welcome to the Journey to Launch podcast with your host, Jamila Souffrant. As a money expert who walks her talk, she helps brave journeyers like you get out of debt, save, invest, and build real wealth. Join her on the journey to launch to financial freedom in
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, journeyers. Welcome to the Journey to Launch podcast. I'm your host, Jamila Souffrant. I hope you've been enjoying these episodes. I've been toying around and basically doing a summer rewind episode. So these were episodes that were previously aired on the podcast, but that were mentioned as case studies or references in my book, Your Journey to Financial Freedom. We had episodes based on debt payoff, financial independence, and now I'm just going to sprinkle in some fan favorite episodes and some of my personal faves. So you're going to hear some of those episodes for the next couple weeks. I really hope you've been enjoying what you've been listening to. If you want to check out my book, which I hope you've already gotten, but if not, that's fine. You can pick it up now. Head over to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com to see where you can find it. It's available everywhere: Amazon, Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, basically everywhere. Head over to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com to pick up the book. Now, happy listening, and I hope you enjoy these episodes. Today, I have on someone who I've known for a little bit now. Her name is Cassandra Henry, and she is in the thick of her financial independence journey. And you'll hear how she is making strides in paying off debt and investing in herself and more of her story. I'm always impressed with Cassandra because even just when I first met her and she became my one-on-one coaching client and then proceeded to take some of my offerings, and she's in the launch club, in the money launch club now, she always shows up. She puts the work in, and it's reflected through her progress. So I wanted to invite her on the show so she can share what she's learning on her journey and things that you can do and apply to your own financial freedom journey. If you want the episode show notes for this episode, go to journeytolaunch.com or click the description of wherever you're listening to this episode. In the show notes, you'll get the transcribed version of the conversation, the links that we mentioned, and so much more. Also, whether you are an OG journeyer or brand new to the podcast, I've created a free jumpstart guide to help you on your financial freedom journey. It includes the top episodes to listen to, stages to go through to reach financial freedom, resources, and so much more. You can go to journeytolaunch.com/jumpstart to get your guide right now. Hey, journeyers, I'm really excited. I always say I'm excited, but I'm really excited this time to have this guest on the podcast. I have Cassandra Henry, who I've known for, I feel like, a long time, and we'll go through how we met in our relationship. And really, primarily, I really wanted you on this podcast, Cassandra, because I feel like so many journeyers can relate to your story and how you're navigating your financial freedom journey. So Cassandra, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Jamila. I'm so happy to be here.
Just to give a little background, Cassandra and I met because you had first reached out to me for one-on-one coaching. And so I coached you and helped you through some of your just like financial roadblocks that you had. And we've always kind of kept in touch since then. And now you're a member of the Launch Club. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. But I really want to highlight your story, if we can, about just where you are financially and how much you've actually accomplished, since starting your journey. I want to highlight that and then help people along their path. So first, let's start where you currently are financially. Are you in debt? How much debt do you have? Where are you on your financial journey?
Yeah, so right now, I really only have student loans. I was able to pay off my credit card debt. So far, I'm just trying to pay off my student loan debt. So it's I have over $25,000 in student loans. Mm-hmm.
You live in New York City, right?
Yes, the Bronx.
The Bronx, and you're a teacher.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so let's go back a little bit. when you first got aware, what first made you aware that you wanted to get financially free? Like, what was that turning point for you? And at that point, when you realized it, how much debt did you have, or what was your situation like back then?
Yeah, so it was in the summer of 2017. I was working summer school at the middle school that I was working at before. And I was learning more about finances. Because I became like the breadwinner of my family. So I was able to feel like I do have to like manage my money. So I was talking to this coworker and he told me about Dave Ramsey. I never heard of Dave Ramsey. And he told me about the baby steps. And that was the time I was paying off credit card debt. And I was able to pay off credit card debt because of the baby steps, what Dave Ramsey was telling me. And through that, I learned, oh, wait, so it got the ball rolling, but I still wasn't aware of the financial world. I wasn't aware of like, this is a real deal. It was when I watched the documentary, The Minimalist. I don't know if you heard of it.
Yep.
The Minimalist. And I felt, oh, wow, this is really cool. And then it got me into being a financial minimalist, because I got into the podcast movement and everything. So it was just a learning. I kept learning that year, and I'm learning. And then 2018 was when I took like the tools that I've learned into action.
Right. Like you said, when we first started working together, you for being young, right? If you want to share your age, you're still pretty young. Right.
I'm 25 right now.
25. And to be the breadwinner of your family, you have a lot riding on you. And I think that's the case for especially like a lot of, especially like immigrant, like, so first generation. I know you from Dominican Republic, right?
Yes.
And so oftentimes like a lot of things fall on you because you're expected to do more. And then like the older generation is not as versed, right? And sometimes don't even like speak fluent English to like navigate this world. I know my husband's father doesn't, he's Haitian, they're Haitian. He doesn't speak English really that well. So it's really like a lot of pressure on like the kids and like the people who are in the family that can really do more. So I know that has impacted your journey, right?
Yeah. And I'm the middle child. I do have an older sister, which I love dearly. And she took the role academically throughout high school, like my whole schooling, because my parents did not know any English. But my dad he did know English, but it wasn't as correct English.
Right.
And she was the one who like took the head of like academically, but it was in college too, like financially, they just didn't know they didn't know financial aid. So we saw like programs outside of resources throughout like the College Access Center near where I live. And through that, I was able to learn. But financially speaking, like they didn't help me in terms of like budgeting. They only helped me in savings. I know my dad used to always save a lot of money.
Right. Well, that's interesting because that's one thing I remember about my mom too, is that she also, not knowing anything, not knowing much, right? And even my grandmother, the one thing, it was like, save your money.
Yes, money, all the time.
So, and I think that comes from just, they grew up with way less than we had. And I know for them, it was just like, just saving for them was great. And it is, right? Obviously, that's a good trait. Yeah. But to become successful and to like not just survive in this world, especially New York City, like you have to do more than just save. You have to invest. Money has to grow, because otherwise, you're losing out on a lot of opportunity. Okay, so you come to this realization that, okay, there's Dave Ramsey, which by the way, his program is great for people who are just trying to get out of debt. But then you wanted more. You fell into this world of podcasts, and that's probably how you stumbled upon me. And so in terms of you now making more strides, right? Like getting better at paying off debt and doing other things, what did you do differently? Like, what did you start learning and doing? So maybe other people listening could be like, well, I'm in that situation and I need to like kick it in gear. What did you do?
So I took advantage of everything that came my way. I took advantage of listening to so many podcasts. Like I came across you from like Choose FI, and then I went into other podcasts. I was like education overload when it came to financial, but I also took advantage of the people around me. I like sought out people who are interested in becoming financially free, and sought out people that wanted to invest in themselves. Like I wouldn't be now where I am. Like I was able to like pay off my debt. I'm like, I'm starting in investing now. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the programs I invested myself in and the Journey to Launch Club and everything. Like it's been so blessed. It's blessings.
Yeah. And I think this is like that chicken and egg kind of thing for a lot of people where they know that they need to level up and do something different and to learn and invest in themselves. But then at the other end, they're like, well, I don't have that much money. And I think that's where like the personal finance field sometimes, because we talk a lot about saving and investing, but usually it's like saving and investing in other things other than yourself. Not everyone talks like that, but I just feel like more significance should be put on actually like pouring money back into you. And, and I will credit you for that. I feel like you've always like, whenever it was like, okay, I'm going to invest in something, like you always did it. Like you always was like, all right, I'm going to do this. And so I think that's great. And that's proven through kind of the success you had. So in terms of actual things, all right. So, you invested in yourself, you invested in coaching, you joined the Launch Club, but like, what were some steps like you changed with your behavior, with your finances? Did you get a budget, stop going out to eat? Did you try to make more money? Like what were the action steps you took?
Yeah, I stopped taking Uber because when I met with you on one-on-one coaching, I saw that I was spending a lot on Uber.
Yeah.
So I like limited myself on that. And ever since I've like only used Uber, so only for emergencies, or if I use it, I always pay it back on my credit card. But I also sought out ways to educate myself about investing and all the other ways I can grow my money, like with the book club, wanting ways to learn more about how to develop myself when it comes to my finances.
So you paid off your credit card debt at this point, and really it's just student loans left, right?
Yes.
So in terms of people, or like your next goal, I know your next goal is like pay off your student loans, but for people kind of in the thick of their debt payoff journey, what advice do you have for them to kick it into gear and get rid of like the consumer debt, not necessarily the student loans just yet, like, but the other debt that they have?
Change your mindset. That has definitely been the part of me that really shifted, because before, when I did have the debt, I just left it there. I didn't consistently try to erase it. But when I changed my mindset of like, oh, this can actually happen, like I'm not gonna stay stuck in this predicament that I'm in, or I'm not always gonna have the debt by there. So I just changed it and consistently try to push myself to get it a game, like try to pay it off every single week, or try to pay off any debt that I come across in my credit card. So just having like a shift in your mindset when it comes to consumer debt, because it can definitely be a hole and you get sucked into it and you can never.
Right. Well, unless you change kind of your reality, which is what you did, like listen to podcasts. That's what I did when I first got on this. And you surround yourself, even if it's online, virtually, with people who get it. It kind of seems normal that, all right, if you have a ton of debt, that's what it is. But because you're exposed to like, there's something bigger, there's something so much greater outside. Once you get out of this debt-free stage, there are levels to this, right? So you're getting out of debt, then you're in a stage where you are saving and investing and you're working towards your financial goals. And yes, that can take a while. I always say, like, listen, this is not a quick journey. This is not something for most people that it's going to take a while, especially depending on your income from where you started. Hey, journeyers, if you are loving this podcast, then you will love my book, Your Journey to Financial Freedom, a step-by-step guide to achieving wealth and happiness. I wrote this book for you. This book is for you if you want a clear and enjoyable path to having more money, options, and a rich life. This book is for you if you hate your commute and the fact that you need to seek approval or permission from a boss. I hated that when I worked. This book is for you if you weren't born into wealth, you didn't marry rich or win the lottery, but you still want freedom. This book is for you if you're at a crossroads, a major decision or event is imminent. Maybe a career change, marriage, starting a family. Pressures are reaching a tipping point, and the discomfort and the desire for more can no longer be ignored. And this book is for you if you find yourself zoned out at meetings, looking out the window or daydreaming about the life you truly want. So go pick up Your Journey to financialfreedom.com so I can show you how to map out how to get from where you are today to where you ultimately want to be and enjoy the journey while you're on the path. Head over to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com to see where you can pick the book up. It's available on Amazon, bookshop.org, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, everywhere. Go to yourjourneytofinancialfreedom.com to get the book now. One of the things you didn't mention was that you did actually increase your income too, right? Like you said,
yes.
you have a side hustle. So let's talk a little bit about that. That's one thing I am trying to encourage more people to do is that if you want to increase your income, and most people do, then go after it. It's possible. So let us know how you did that and tips for people who want to increase.
Yeah. It was all because I was exposed to everyone. I've been hearing stories about ways to develop your income. And I just never thought I would get more income. I never saw that. And I never thought I would get extra 10K in a year. So I had an opportunity to get extra money every month, like $1,000 a month, along with my main job. So I took it and, I was like, I know at the end of this year, I want to be at a certain place, and this is how I'm going to get to that certain place. So I knew from the get-go once I submitted, it was going to be tough. I know it's going to be tough with my schedule and everything, but it was going to be worth it,
What was that side income that you took on or did?
A program assistant for an after-school program at my school, and I've used that money for extras, like emergency funds. It has been amazing with the amount of money that I was able to save because of the side income.
So the thing about, I think teachers, I definitely don't think you get paid enough. My husband is a teacher, but the great thing, if possible, is that there are a lot of opportunities sometimes to supplement income if you can. So I know my husband does that too. He coaches and he does morning school, after school, and it can be tough, right? Because you guys are doing a lot in a day and then you have to do all that extra stuff. But I think that's helpful. So any teachers out there, look for some opportunities to raise your income if you could do that via your school or some programs.
Yeah. And then also after reflecting, I was reflecting about the year of why I chose, I was reflecting on the reason why I chose the job. But it's because of I believed I was living abundantly. I shifted that insecure mindset about money. And I knew I know I'm going to get money. It will come my way. And I would I saw it. And then ever since then, I was getting another side. I got an online teaching job. So I was able to supplement myself more. So it's been really good.
And that's what's crazy. It's and it sounds so kind of when you're not in an abundant mindset or you don't believe in this stuff, you're just whatever, that's a coincidence but it's literally. And I had David Neagle on the podcast and he talked about this. I think he was episode, was it 99? Yep. There you go. 99. And he talked about this where it's the opportunities are there. If there's a need, the solution is there. Exactly. Oftentimes we don't see the solution because we're blinded by our own limitations and maybe just the lack of abundance or the scarcity mindset. But once you kind of just switch, you put on different goggles or, you dust the fog off of your goggles or glasses, things look a little different. And then you're able to see the opportunities and the obstacles in any situation. So I always challenge people, even if you don't have a perfect situation, if you're grateful for what is typically, then, you can then see what other opportunities are there for you.
Exactly.
In terms of I'm sure you're glad that you started on this path. Do you ever think about what things would be like if you did not invest in yourself and invest in coaching, invest in the Launch Club, do things that maybe some people are a little scared to do? They think, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and hopefully things will change. For you, can you imagine what things would be like if you did not start this journey?
Oh, yeah. I find myself looking at the opportunities that I've taken advantage of, and I would never have believe that I would be capable of achieving those or creating the goals that I have for myself now. It's way beyond the goals that I saw I created last year, past 2 years ago. I know I'm worthy of more, and I seek abundance and everywhere now, not just money. I know I am worthy of more. And through this journey, it's I found my worth in that as well.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy thing. It's it's for everyone. It's there for everyone. It's not excluded. Everyone is inherently deserving of worth. And if you can think of something, it's kind of scary. If your mind can conceive something, then it's possible for you to go after it. It's just that sometimes our dreams are big and can be scary. But when you're around people, that's why it's I love introducing people to different concepts and talking and planting seeds. Because I feel like once that happens, once you have that seed planted, then you realize like, wow, like I didn't know that was possible. And if that person could do it, why can't I do it? Right?
Yeah, that's why I love like hearing the stories in the podcast and like the Journey to Launch Club too. Like I find myself like, oh wow, I am able to do it. Like I negotiated for this job that I have now. Like I'm a first grade teacher, but I was a middle school teacher for 3 years, and I negotiated like a raise from this to the current job I have now. I would have never done that if I was if I wasn't surrounded by the different opportunities I've sought, you know?
Right. No, I mean, that's so awesome. What are some things? So I know your main goal is to also pay off your student loan debt,
Yes.
but in the journey, right? So long term or just looking past just the debt payoff stage, like what's your ultimate goal? What are you working towards?
Mini retirement by the age of 30. Like a mini retirement, you know those? Because I learned it through your podcast. I never knew it was possible. But now I know by 30, I want to have like a year off.
And that's the thing, right? You pick your journey. So some people are working to have like the ultimate early retirement and financial independence. And that's fine. I think you do your best and you can actually strategize a way in which you have options for both. I mean, if you're giving yourself that flexibility. As a teacher, though, you can get sabbaticals, right? Or is it more through if you're working with the actual New York City school system?
Yeah, which I'm getting myself in there.
Okay.
I know that like my main goal, in whatever way I get there, I know by 30 I will be taking a year off.
Nice.
Like,
so what are you gonna do?
Traveling the whole year, and like doing volunteer work.
Nice. Well, I see it for you. Honestly, like you've already done so much and it's going to happen for you. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about like just the Launch Club itself. I feel like it's hard to explain the kind of energy and the benefit sometimes of it. And that's why I wanted like you on. So like people can hear for themselves what it's like to be surrounded with this kind of energy, with the tools and resources. So if you could just kind of just talk about what you like the most about the Launch Club, what you gained from it.
Yeah, of course. I love it. So what I love most about the Launch Club is more about the community, because this is the first community I have where I could talk about money. Like I talk about money with my sisters and like a little bit with my mom, but this is where I can like look to for learning about questions on like real estate, or investing, or the high interest bank accounts. I never heard of it until like there was a conversation on the Lunch Club, which I just put in my emergency fund in because I'm like, wow, like what? I just found different avenues to grow my money and to get me closer to reaching financial freedom. So.
Right. And you are. So I would say like, you know, there are some people who like show up to like most like 90% of the classes and things I do, like you're one of them. And that just shows you like the kind of effort that you put in definitely reflects on the outcome. All right. If you had any last parting words for someone who is listening and, you know, they're on the journey, they're in it with you, like they're in that debt payoff stage, or they have these dreams, they want to take a mini retirement, like what's just like one piece of advice or something you want them to know?
Make sure you invest in yourself in whatever way you want, or whatever way you see yourself investing in yourself. Just make sure you keep that in the forefront, because the journey is tough. It's not easy. But if you're investing in yourself and surrounding yourself with people of the same goals, then you're going to enjoy it. And even though it's going to get tough, you're going to be struggling together.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to, at least you can look to your right, your left. You'd be like, all right, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So thanks so much, Cassandra, for coming on, sharing your story, and I'll see you back in the Launch Club.
Okay. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed the conversation with Cassandra. And I am really, really encouraged when I hear like directly from journeyers that they are taking like the content, whether you just listen to the podcast, whether you're actually in the Money Launch Club, or you're on my email list, or whatever it is that you're getting from this. I always say, I just want you to take action. And every little step counts. So I love that Cassandra is making her way towards her goals. And if you're listening to this, you are on your way too. Just keep on going. All right, journeyers, until next week. Don't forget, you can get the episode show notes for this episode by going to journeytolaunch.com or click the description of wherever you're listening to this. And you can still grab your Jumpstart Guide for free to help you on your journey to financial freedom by going to journeytolaunch.com/jumpstart. If you want to support me and the podcast and love the free content and information that you get here, here are 4 ways that you can support me and the show. 1, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast wherever you listen, whether that's Apple Podcasts, that purple app on your phone, your Android device, YouTube, Spotify, wherever it is that you happen to listen, just subscribe so you are not missing an episode. And if you're happening to listen to this in Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe there. I appreciate and read every single review. Number 2, follow me on my social media accounts. I'm at Journey to Launch on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I love, love, love interacting with journeyers there. 3, support and check out the sponsors of this show if you hear something that interests you. Sponsors are the main ways we keep the podcast lights on here, so show them some love for supporting your girl. 4, and last but not least, share this episode, this podcast with a friend or family member or coworker so that we can spread the message of Journey to Launch. All right, that's it. Until next week, keep on journeying, journeyers.